Hello everyone, I am Priya. Welcome back to my channel Learn with Priya. So today I'll be explaining class 9 NCERT biology chapter number 1, that is the fundamental unit of life. So let's see who has joined my class. Yes, hello Abdul, hello Swapin, hello Christy, hello Abdullah. Thank you so much for joining my class. Hello Zoe, hello. Yes. Hello, Tana, and sorry, Thara, and all. So, thank you so much for joining the class. So, let's start the class without wasting time because I've got maximum students. So, let me show you all. So, before starting this session, I want you all to like open your notebooks and hold all the pens and all so that we all will be ready for studying. So, yes, the window is open now. So, I guess you all are ready. So, let's start our class. It's taking a while. Yes. So, in this class, you'll be learning how to describe the discovery of cells, and you'll be able to explain the cell theory, and you'll be able to describe the structural organization of a cell, and you should be able to list the various components of a cell and state their functions. And you also should be able to differentiate between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, and you also should be able to draw and label plant and animal cells. Students should also be able to have basic understanding of chromosomes, DNA, and types of cell division. So, I remind you again, students, this is part one of this session, and part two will be uploaded as soon as possible. This chapter is quite long, so it made me it took me two sessions to complete this chapter. What makes us different from a non living thing? How are we different from rock or a table? So, first question, what makes us different from a non living thing? Do you know the answer? Why are we different from, like, take some example as a bed? Bed is a non living thing, right? So, how are we different from bed? We sleep on that, we don't sleep on ourselves. Yes, that is a difference also. But there is another difference that bed is non living thing. Non-living things means which does not live, which does not has life to live, but we have life. That is the main reason. And how are we different from a table or a rock is the same thing. They like table or a rock, they need someone else to move them, right? But we humans don't need others support, we don't depend on others, we just move by ourselves, we walk, we run, we do whatever you want, right? So this is the difference. Characteristics of living things. So, before getting into the lesson, you have to visit Mrs. Gren. Who is Mrs. Gren? Mrs. Gren is nothing but these full forms. Like these are the fundamental definitions of our life that we all have to remember. So it is the easiest way to remember it as Mrs. Gren. You can observe the first letters of them. It spells as Mrs. Gren, right? Like the M means movement, R means respiration, S means sensitivity, G means growth, R means reproduction, E means excretion, and N is nutrition. So these all forms Mrs. Gren. Who is she? She is Mrs. Gren. Okay, so remember this properly so that you don't get confused. And this is also important. You may get this as objective question or objective type questions. Which is the basic component of your body which participates in all of the above process? So we all are having a component which is like which takes part in all these activities. All these activities in movement, in respiration, in sensitivity, in growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. Now don't tell me that it's your body. They are asking basic component of your body. Okay, so we will further be learning about that. Okay, it is none other than our cell. Okay, the fundamental unit of life. So the till now what we have learned, everything is the introduction, and now the chapter starts. The fundamental unit of life. This is the very easy chapter but quite lengthy, but you will understand it. I know that. Cell. So what is cell? You have already learned in your 8th class what cell meant and some other components of cells, right? So in this class we will go a little deep with cells so that you can ace your science. So, what is a cell? Cell is a fundamental unit of life. So, cells are small components in our body. Uh, Cell can be of different shapes and different size. Cell can be of square, cell can be of a circle, or a five shaped thing, hexagon, any shape. Cell can take any shape, and in this diagram you can see the cell. This cell is having many different components in it, and I know you have no idea what these are, and even I don't know what these are, because till now what we have learned in our textbooks are of diagrams, very small diagrams and all, but this looks like a 3D image, so it's quite hard for us to tell that. So a cell commonly looks like this, with a nucleus in between, and this is all the cytoplasm, that is a very liquidy structure around it. Okay, and then what we have is, yes, many cells, like assume this as a cell. So many cells form a tissue, like these three cells are forming a tissue, and these many tissues form organ, and many organs form a organ system. We know that, we have studied earlier. What is a cell? Cell is defined as the structural and functional unit of life. So without cell, no tissue can be built. Without tissue, no organ can be built. And without organ, no organ system can be found, right? In the same way, cell is the very basic unit of life. What do you mean by fundamental unit of life? Fundamental means basic. Okay, people ask you what are your fundamentals, what are your, like, what are fundamentals of max and all. In the same way, in biology, cell is the fundamental unit of life. And you will also learn in chemistry, if your teacher asks what is fundamental unit of uh, our life in chemistry, so what would you answer? It is an atom. Okay, brick wall, onion peel. So, brick wall under, not under microscope, sorry. This is onion peel under microscope, and this is brick wall in our view. Okay, in our view. So, don't they both look similar? Very similar, right? This is also having mini bricks, and this is also having mini bricks, right? But you can find one difference between this. This is having a nucleus, but this brick wall does not have a nucleus because it is a non-living cell, I mean non-living thing. So this doesn't have a nucleus or a cytoplasm, but if you go deep into this, you will find soil, you will find organisms, maybe under cement or something. So this is the onion peel, where you can find many nucleus in each cell, right? Okay. Next, cell is called structural unit because body of all the organisms is made up of cells. It is functional unit of life because all the functions are carried out by the cells. They say that cell is the structural unit. What is structural unit? Before like going deep, we have to know the fundamentals, right? I've used the word fundamentals again. Fundamentals means basics, okay? So, why is cell the structural unit? Because it builds, right? It builds the organism. It builds me. Even I'm made up of cells. Even you're made up of cells. Cell is called the structural unit because cell forms a structure. Many cells form tissue. Many tissues form organs, and many organs form organ systems, and so on. Okay, because cell, even not only organ system, even your skin, even your fingers, everything are made up of cell. So this creates a structure. Cell creates a structure, so it is called the structural unit of life also. Functional unit of life, it is also called functional unit of life because all these psychological, biochemical, genetic, and all functions are made up of cells. Sorry. So cell is the basic structure of a living organism because even genetics, for example DNA, RNA, everything are made up of cell. You will learn about this later on in the chapter. Cell discovery. So like these computers are discovered, in the same way cells are also discovered. Let's see who discovered it. Robert Hooke is a person who has discovered cells. He lived between 1635 to 1703. Okay. So, you know how he has discovered it? He resembled, he resembled the cells as a honeycomb. He took a a cork of a tree, and he had observed it under the microscope, and he saw a hexagon, how could, a honeycomb structure under the microscope, like this. So these are called cells, okay? He later on concluded that these are cells. How did he do that? Because he saw that under the microscope. He named them cell because they look like tiny cells. Cell in the sense jail, a little room. Okay, in the Latin word. Okay, so he found out that these honeycomb structures look like a small room, so he named them as cells. Okay, Robert had an early microscope was drawing of cells. So this is the picture of what he saw. As you can see, this actually looks like a honeycomb, right? Yes, it does, and yes, this looks like a honeycomb. Yes, exactly, Shubham. This also looks like a brick wall. Yes, Shubham has said that it looks like a tiny brick wall. Yes, Shubham, right. Why do you think Robert Hooke called them cells, named after monastery cells? Ma'am, you have just said no. Yes, Christy, I've just said it now. He has called them cells because Latin word for little room is cells. As you can see in this picture, these tiny bricks or honeycomb structure looks like small rooms. So he thought that why don't I name this as cells because they look like small rooms. At that time, in that century, in that yuga or whatever it is, they used to use the olden languages like Latin, Persian, and all. So he named it according to his language. 1600. In 1600, Anton van Leeuwenhoek first discovered living cells as seen through a simple microscope. He is another scientist who has described living cells, and he saw that through a living microscope. He investigated bacteria. He found out bacteria, and we have learned about him in 8th class also. Just comment me below what we have learned about him. Protists. It is also kind of organism that he has found. He discovered everything. Sperm cells. He's the one who discovered sperm cells, blood cells, nematodes, that means round worms, and everything. Between 1827 to 833, Robert Brown is another scientist. He noticed that pollen grains in water giggled around, called Brownian motion, discovered the nucleus. Okay, this is a human cheek cell. that is present on our cheeks. So there is also nucleus there. So that means that is also a cell. Then he found out that our body is totally made up of cells. He also saw little pollen grains in water jiggled around called Brownian motion. So pollen grains, we can see small small grains in the water in lake ponds. If you have a nearby lake or pond, just go have notice them. You will find small small grains giggling around. So that motion he has named it as Brownian motion. Okay. Next, John and Purkinje. He coined the term protoplasm, which pertains to the living materials inside the cell. Protoplasm is another organism. Uh, Protoplasm is part of a cell. Okay. Cell theory. This is the most important topic till now, and you have to learn this. You may have this in your exam in form of objective type or 2 mark question. Cell theory. Here's Matthias Schleden. Here's Matthias Schleden, and he discovered that all plants are made of cells. So, what did Matthias Schleden say? That all cells are made up of all plants are made up of cells. Yes, Kriti, what's your doubt? Okay, Kriti is asking that Robert Hooke has already discovered cell, then why did Matthias Schleden already did? So, Kriti, the answer is Robert Hooke has discovered cells in a croc, and he told everybody that cells are present. He discovered the name cell, and he told that cells are present. That's it. But he didn't say in which organism and how they are present and all. But Matthias Schleden gave a theory that all plants are made up of cells. Okay? Understood, Kriti? Yes. Theodore Schwann. Theodore Schwann is another scientist who gave the theory that all plants are made, all animals are made up of cells. Okay, Kriti, just pay attention. Robert Hooke has just told that this is a cell. He has discovered cell. That's it. But he didn't state that if living organisms are made up of cells or not, right? He just said that cell is there. That's it, and he gave the name cell. But Matthias Schleden and Theodor Schwann had stated that all plants and animals are made up of cells. Understood, Kriti? I want chat box to be filled with. Yes, ma'am. Please do that. Yes. Okay. I've got many yes, ma'ams. Okay, now getting back to the topic. Theodor Schwann discovered the animal cells. Rudolf Virchow. Rudolf Virchow is another scientist who stated that all cells came from pre-existing cells. So, all cells came from pre-existing cell. Then you might have the doubt that so what is the first cell that came, like pre-existing in the sense cell came from another cell, right? So you might have the doubt that then where did the very first cell come from, right? Where did the very first cell come from? So the answer, even I don't know. Everybody, matlab, you know that, right? Okay, all cells came from pre-existing cells, and pre-existing cells does not get discovered by chemical or physical form. You know, they get created by themselves. Like in how human beings are created. We don't have very first human being, right? Even they came from monkeys, and monkeys came from other creatures. In the same way, cells also got discovered in that way. Cell theory? Okay. Matthias Sladen concluded that all plants are made up of cells, and this was told in 1838. Please remember the dates, these are very important. Theodore Schwann concluded that all animals are made up of cells, and this was stated in 1839. Rudolf Virchow concluded that all cells came from pre existing cells in 1855. Please remember all the dates. These dates are very important, and cell theory is very, very important. Please put a star mark over there. Cell theory. All living things are made up of cells. Yes. So the conclusion from all these three scientists and all these 3 points are called the cell theory, and these are very important. And you may have them in your exam. And this is for sure. You will definitely have them in your final exam. Cell number, size, and shape. Cell number. So these are different types of cells that can be found in our body. Unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. So you all have heard about unicellular and multicellular, na? Unicellular means organisms that are made up of only one single type of cell or only one single cell only. For example, amoeba, paramecium, bacteria, chlamydomonas. Yes, so these are all unicellular organisms. These are only made up of single cell. Done. And the next one is multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms are made up of millions and millions of cells. Like us, we are also multicellular organisms. We have blood cell, skin cell, cheek cell, nerve cell, muscle cells. Yes, taste cells. We have many different kinds of cells. And for examples for multicellular organisms are plants and animals. Now, our next topic is cell size. Cells are extremely small, therefore, they can be observed under microscope. We all know that cells are very small. So, every chapter is interlinked and every subject is also interlinked. Chemistry and bio are also interlinked. In bio, this fundamental unit of life is cell. In chemistry, the fundamental unit of life is atom. Both are small. Both cell and atom are small. But I don't think cell is smaller than atom. Atom is very smaller than cell, but cell is not so tiny. Cell is extremely tiny, I mean small. Therefore, they can only be observed under microscope or electron microscope. If you have an electron microscope, then you can clearly see the cell. Cells are measured in micrometers or microns. Micrometers or microns. These are the smallest units, I think. Nanometers are also there. Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the smallest cell. What is the smallest cell? Mycoplasma. A nerve cell is the longest cell. In the next chapter, you'll be learning about nerve cell. Myco and ostrich egg. Ostrich egg is the largest cell. We have been learning about ostrich since we are kids, and now we have got use for that memory. Cell shape now. The shape of the cell varies in different organisms. The shape of plant cell is different from that of an animal cell. They may be spherical, oval, elliptical, spindle shaped, cuboidal, polygonal, columnar, or flat plate like. As I've told you, cell can be in any shape. Okay, it depends. For example, nerve cell, you saw it must be long in the shape, right? Liver cell is the extreme, matlab, not that easy. Matlab, it is easy to understand, easy to draw, and most it is the datum cell. Cells are diverse. Cell size and shape. The shapes of cells are quite varied, with some, such as neurons, being longer than they are wide, and others such as erythrocytes, that is red blood cells, being equidimensional. Cell shape varies depending both on function and surface area requirements. Okay, so we'll be learning about all these cell size and shape. Okay, as we have not learned it yet. Neuron is the nerve cell. Nerve cell is also called the neuron. So this is the longest cell in the body, and it is not so so complex to draw. It is very easy to draw if you understand it, and you may have this in your exam. I had it in my exam once. Okay, so you can see this red blood cells or the erythrocytes. These are shaped in like a donut shape, and you may not have this in your exam to draw. Just remember everything. Ovum cell, bone cell, sperm cell, smooth muscle cells, columnar epithelial cells. These are all very important cells. Three common features in all cells. So there are three common features in all cells that every cell has it. For example, let me show you. Nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane or the plasma membrane. Both are same, okay? Don't get confused. Plasma membrane and the cell membrane are same. They are having two different names, but they are same. Their function, everything is same. So every cell must have three common features. What is it? Nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. Yes, Christy, what's your doubt? Yes, Christy, please type your doubt. Okay, Christy's doubt is that, ma'am, cells do have cell wall, right? Just a second, Christy. Christy, or cells do have cell wall, but it depends. Plant cell have cell wall, and animal cells do not have cell wall, and you will learn why and why not. In part two, I'll be explaining everything. But cell wall is not common feature of a cell. Okay, only these three are there: plasma membrane, nucleus, and cytoplasm. No cell wall is there. Cell wall is not the common feature, Christy. Okay, so if any doubt, please let me know.